Every day, the little girl secretly ate her classmates' leftover food. When the teacher saw this, she immediately stopped her. Because the girl's family was poor, the teacher gave her an extra meal every day. The teacher didn't understand why the girl still ate other people's leftovers. The girl cried and said she wouldn't do it again. Then she ran out. The teacher followed her and only then learned the truth. It turned out that 6 months earlier the girl's father had fallen at a construction site and injured his head. If she ate the boxed lunch, her father would have nothing to eat. The teacher asked where the girl's mother was. The girl shook her head and said she didn't have a mother. Seeing this 6-year-old child take on the responsibility of caring for her father, the teacher felt deeply pained. She decided to take the girl back and get her another meal. When they returned to the classroom, the classmates brought their meals and eagerly shared them with the girl. The girl was deeply moved when she saw this. She bowed deeply to her classmates. Then the teacher told the girl that China's top surgical professor was offering free consultations. There might be a chance to cure her father. The girl took her father to the hospital. In the lobby, she accidentally bumped into a woman. The girl quickly apologized. The woman froze the moment she saw the man because he looked exactly like her husband. 6 years earlier, she had given birth to a stillborn baby, and her husband had left her. When she saw the little girl, she thought that if her child had lived, she would be about this age. Unknown to her, it had been the woman's father who found the man back then and adamantly forbade them from being together. He refused to accept their child and offered $5 million to make the man leave. The man demanded only that he be allowed to take the child with him, and then he agreed to leave the woman. In the end, the father fabricated the lie that the baby was stillborn. Afterward, the girl brought her father to see the professor. Following diagnosis, they were told an immediate craniotomy was necessary. The girl vowed she would collect bottles and skip meals every day until she had saved enough money for the surgery. Moved by the poor girl, the professor decided to treat her father for free. At that moment, the same woman barged in, demanding that the professor operate on her grandfather first. But her grandfather's illness was minor and could be treated by an ordinary doctor. The woman didn't want to take surgical risk and insisted that the experienced professor operate on her grandfather. The professor said he wanted to give the opportunity to someone who needed it more, but the woman was very forceful. She shoved a bank card loaded with $1 million into the professor's hand and had her bodyguards forcibly take him home. Seeing the poor girl, the professor was helpless. The girl tried to stop them, but was pushed to the ground by the bodyguards. The woman glanced at the girl and then turned and left. That evening, the teacher came to the hospital with a boxed lunch and some money. She said the money had been donated by the director and the teachers for the girl to use for her father's treatment. The girl knelt on the floor to give thanks. Suddenly, the father had an episode, fell off the bed, and lost consciousness. The doctor said there was nothing they could do. Only the professor had the skill to perform the surgery. The girl braved the pouring rain to go to the woman's house to find the professor. She slipped and fell, scraping her hands and knees until they bled. But she forced herself to get up and keep going. When she reached the villa, she knelt down and repeatedly cowed out. Hearing the commotion, the woman ordered her men to drive the girl away. The girl collapsed in the heavy rain from exhaustion. By then, the woman's grandfather's surgery had been completed. He had vaguely heard the noise outside earlier. When his men told him what had happened, he showed no concern. He asked whether they had found the little girl who had saved him before. A few days earlier, the richest man had fallen ill and fainted on the street, and the little girl had given him medicine and saved his life. He noticed the girl looked very much like his granddaughter, and secretly ordered his men to investigate. When he saw the report, he was stunned to discover she was actually his great-granddaughter. Overjoyed, he handed the photos to his men and urged them to find her immediately. When the bodyguard saw the photo, he realized the person the tycoon wanted found was the very little girl who had just been at the door.